my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Neha and I try to make videos about books. And today is a book haul. I've been on a bit of a break on this YouTube channel because I was preparing for something and it finally got over. Hopefully it's the last time I have to go through with it again. But in that period of not posting videos, I did accumulate a few books. Not a few, I would say a substantial number of books, and I wanted to return to YouTube with a book haul and just show you the books that I've added to my collection. A few of them are, a lot of them actually are very recent releases and I'm very excited to finally have them. So this is more like a new releases binge haul plus a few older books that I've always wanted to have in my collection, and I finally went ahead and got them. Yeah, without any further ado, let's just dive right into the books. I have a few Amazon picks and then I have a few bookshop picks, so I'll just run you through each of them. So the first book that I have to show you is already finished, and this is The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida. This is written by Shehan Karun Tilaka, and this has been chosen as the winner of the Booker Prize for 2022. I have finished this book because I had to, and I'm very happy that I have this in my collection. So this is a story about Mali, who is a wartime photographer in the Sri Lankan Civil War, and he has a lot of incriminating evidence against the major players in the war, but before he could do anything about it, he is killed, and the story is basically about him in the afterlife, kind of trying to figure out who has murdered him and trying to get his loved ones access a bunch of photographs which can have the potential to, shake the foundations of the country, so to speak. I really enjoyed reading this book. I think I'm going to do a wrap up soon on this channel, talking about all the books that I've read in the month or so break that I took. So I'll speak more to you about this book in that video, but for now, I bought this book, I read this book, I really enjoyed this book. Everybody should read this book. So yeah. The next book is also a 2022 release. Again, a very anticipated book for me, and I've also finished reading this. This is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. This is a historical fiction book, and it is kind of like a fictionalized version of real life events. So it tells the story of Lucrezia. She is 16 years old. She is the daughter of the Duke of Florence, but she's like she's like the fourth daughter, and she has a lot more siblings, and she's kind of like forgotten, and she's not very much in the attention of her mom and dad. So she grows up with her childhood nurses, and she loves paintings, and but however, her elder sister passes away from an illness, and so she is betrothed to her elder sister's fiance, who's Alfonso, who's the Duke of Ferrara. She gets married to him and then goes and lives with him, and suddenly things are not as they seemed to her when she first married Alfonso, and suddenly things take a sinister turn. I think I love Maggie O'Farrell, but I think this book could have been 100 pages shorter. I'll speak more about this book also in that wrap up, hopefully, which I'll get to do. So yeah, this is the second book which I bought and I also finished. And I bought a backlist book which I've wanted in my shelves for a long while. This is The Complete Moss by Art Spiegelman. I bought this on one of the Amazon sales in the last couple of months, and this was at a really good price, and I've always wanted this, but I always thought this was a little expensive for me. This is again a very famous book about Auschwitz, about World War II and the concentration camps, and it is a real life story of the author's father, but it is told in the form of a family of mice, if I'm not wrong. I have on purpose, I don't know too much about this book because I want to go through the full experience of actually reading and discovering more about it. But I've heard amazing things about this book from everybody, and this is my second graphic novel that I hope to read. I finished Heartstopper earlier, and I'll talk about that also maybe in the wrap-up video that I keep mentioning for some reason. But yeah, very happy to have finally had this in my collection. Another Amazon pick which has been on my wish list for so long, and it is so popular across the world of booktube, bookstagram, all of that, is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. I read Eileen by Ottessa Moshfegh and I really enjoyed her writing, and this one is, I think, her cult favorite book. It's about a young woman who seems to have everything going right for her in her life, but she wants to sleep and do nothing for a complete year. So it's a story of why she's feeling like that, and what are the factors and what are the trigger points or something like that. Again, I think a book that I deliberately kept away from because I don't want it to be spoiled for me. So yeah, very, very excited to read this. And after my exams that I was preparing for, I was feeling a little low, and I went to a bookshop and I binged. But I intentionally binged because I was looking forward to that evening for so long, and I had a budget for myself and I kind of stuck to it, so I'm very proud of myself for that. Yeah, let me show you the books that I bought in that bookshop and in my binge. Most of them are new releases, some of them are classics which I wanted in a bit, so let's just go through them. First book that I have from that bookshop is 1984 by George Orwell. Again, a classic which I don't think needs any introduction. I wanted to read this. I wanted a good copy on my shelves for so long, and I finally found this one. This is like this is like the Penguin Orange classics, but it's not like a vintage one. It's more like it's a reprint of the original design. And because 1984 is about censorship and it's about authority states and all of that, it's blacked out. 1984 and George Orwell is blacked out, and I really like the edition, so I've ended up picking it out. I also really love these vintage books which are the Penguin Orange editions, and I have a few of them on my shelf, so very excited to finally have a really good copy of 1984 on my shelves, and I promise I will get to it very soon. I wanted to not buy classics for a while because I have so many on my shelves which I've yet to get to, but I just couldn't resist that. So yeah. Then another backlist book, but an Indian backlist book. This is Narcopolis by byeee. This is a Man Booker Prize shortlisted book, but in 2012. Byeee is a very famous Indian author, and I've never read him. This particular book also is very recommended, and it's also a Bombay book. I'm on a bit of a Bombay book reading journey, so to speak, and I'm hoping that this one will satisfy that itch somewhere. I don't really know too much about it. I just know that it's a Bombay book, and I want to keep it that way, deliberately staying away from reading like Goodreads reviews and like the synopsis of the book and so on and so forth. So yeah, happy to have this as well. A few more 2022 releases that I've wanted to read, and I decided to binge and buy the physical copy of. The first one is Best of Friends by Kamila Shamsie. I loved Home Fire by Kamila Shamsie that I had read a couple of years ago. I really think that she's a brilliant writer, and I'm so glad she finally put out another book. So this is about two girl best friends who grow up in Pakistan, and they're very close. They're like, they're the best of friends, like they're almost like sisters, and they share everything. But a set of circumstances force them to lose touch, and they drift apart, and they only reunite like years later as full adults in London, and each of them are on very different career paths, but a secret kind of like threatens to shake their individual lives, and that's why they get together. So I've heard good things about this book on the world of booktube, and I think Kamila Shamsie is one writer that I feel like I will read everything that she's written off. And I've never read a book set in Pakistan. I have a couple on my shelves which I'm yet to get to, but yeah, excited for this. Another much anticipated book for me, and I'm so excited to read it. This is Less is Lost by Andrew Sean Greer. I read Less by the author, which is the first part of this book, first book in this kind of like series, a couple of years ago, and that was a Pulitzer Prize winner, and I loved it. It was so funny, it was so poignant, it was so heartwarming. It is about this middle-aged man who kind of is going through a life crisis, and he decides to go on like a book tour of sorts. He's like a semi-famous author, and he goes on this book tour, and it completely changes his life when he comes back. And this is the second book of his life, where he's now a few years later, he's doing well in his life, he has a partner, he has a successful career, but suddenly he loses money, and an old partner passes away, and then he again accepts a set. He again goes on like a whirlwind tour of the US of literary gigs across the country. Again, I'm just really excited to read more of this author and more of this character. It was just so funny and so poignant. That's all I remember from this book, that I was crying, I was laughing, and I love that feeling. So excited to get back into the world of Less. Last book from that bookshop binge that I did was Wondrous by Sheila Tony. This is shortlisted for the JCB prize of this year. This is not the winner, unfortunately, but I really loved the cover of this, and I really heard great things about this book on Instagram specifically. So this is an Indian book which is written in Malayalam, and it's been translated by Jayashree Kalate. It's set in Kerala, it is set in Wayanad, and it is a multi-generational tale of how the tribes of the country, of the tribes of the region have often been ill-treated by outside forces, because they want corporates and capitalists want the resources which are in the land which actually belongs to the tribal, so they really mistreat the people who belong to that land and all of that. So yeah, I've just heard amazing things about this book, and I wanted to read it, and hence I have it now, and hopefully I'll get to it very soon, I promise. I have one more book which just got delivered. I am so excited that it's finally here. I'm immediately reading this. Right after this video, I am going to a cafe and I'm just going to read that book. I'm so excited that it's finally here. Let me just go get it. Final book for this haul, and my most anticipated read for 2022 is finally here. This is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Babel, I don't know how to pronounce it, but so excited it's finally available in India. I ordered this on Amazon, I think in September when it released, but it took so long to release in India. I don't know why, but I'm so finally happy that it's here. I already started it. I'm about 20 pages into it, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, this is, I think I talked about this book in the mid-year freak out tag also that I did, that this was the most anticipated book for the year for me. And this is the story of Robin Swift, who is who's an orphan from Canton, who is uprooted from Canton by this mysterious Englishman who gets him back to London, and he raises him as his ward and teaches him English, and then he sends him off to Babel in Oxford, where he learns the art of silver making and translations. So it's like a dark academia meets colonialism book, and it has a lot of like these magical elements, and I'm so excited to read this. Everybody has been talking about this book, and I don't think I've seen a negative review of this book, so I'm so excited it's finally here and I'm gonna read it. So yeah, these are all the books that I bought over the course of, I would say, like 2 to 3 months. Some of them I've been wanting to read and have with me for the longest time, so I'm finally so happy that I have, and now my bookshelves are officially full. I don't think I can squeeze in any more. So that's a different problem for a different video. So yeah, if you are still around and if you've liked this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that. And if you like seeing me and the kind of videos that I put out, please check out my other videos on my channel. I have a ton of book hauls that I've done, and a ton of wrap-ups, and a ton of other vlogs and all of that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I repeat, and I'll see you next time. Bye.